Hey YouTube, this is Mike, and I just wanted to share a short little snippet from this episode that I really enjoyed. However, if you want to listen to the full episode, either scroll down this post or head to mikejamesreid.com/podcast for the full episode. Thanks and enjoy. You mentioned a second ago that you don't believe in switching off entirely. What do you mean by that? Tell us more about that.
I think we always try to switch on or switch off, or think that work is something that has to be left behind. And it goes back to the whole idea of context switching, where when you're context switching, even a small task, if you go from project to project, you lose, sometimes 2x the time that you've actually been working just in switching gears. And so when you apply that on a very macro level, it's the same kind of concept. Whereas if you're always trying to switch from work to vacation and vacation back to work, you're kind of never actually enjoying the time that you're spending. And so I find finding more opportunities to enjoy the intense work life, and then also finding ways for work to still maintain some type of cadence when I'm away allows, reduces the amount of context switching, which is of course wasted time.
Because from my observation from the time we've spent together is you seem to have this really interesting balance in your psychology, I'm going to say, like your philosophy on work and relationships and life when it comes to context switching and, avoiding that. How do you do that in practice? Like, can you walk us through your approach to that? For example, if you go on vacation, do you take work with you and, do a bit of work during the day and then a bit of time off during the day? Or do you ever just do a day where you're completely off and not thinking about work? How does that work?
There's a lot of days that are just full of, like, when the sun is shining, go outside. And on vacation, there's a lot of time between things too, right? There's trains or there's flights. There's a nice morning espresso where you can kind of hack away at things or get in touch with colleagues. So that makes it easy to flow with work. And I guess in my personal life, like, I think a really simple thing to practice out of anything that I find has been most effective is every morning before, as I'm walking into work or biking into my first meeting, I actively remind myself that it's a huge opportunity to get to go in and to get on the field and play, and to make sure that I enjoy as much as I can, and that all the different challenges and kind of chaotic spins that come up throughout the day are just really the obstacle course that I signed up for, and to just find a way to enjoy it. And I find that if you approach your actual working life like that, your weekends, your relationships, all the other things in a similar vein, suddenly it becomes a lot more fun. So,
like, we talked about this prior to jumping on the show, and one of the things you said to me was the dichotomy that you feel a lot of entrepreneurs face and that you've thought about a lot in your own life is, how do I enjoy this struggle in the journey and the struggle in the process, while also keeping my eye on the prize for the future goal or the prize or the destination. And you shared that what a lot of great entrepreneurs often say is it's the struggle in the process that they look back on so fondly and remember that that was some of the best times. And so tell me more about that. Like, how have you experienced that in your business, your career? And, has there been times where you've really hated the process? And then, maybe the times when you've really got into flow, what's allowed those things to happen, and, what kind of caused the times where it felt like everything was falling apart?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of days that are really tough and long days. And so I like to set my goals as like daily, weekly, monthly goals, where, like, what are the things I can stop or start doing every day? What are the things I can stop and start every week? And what's that on a monthly basis? And I share that because when you think about how it then, like, when you set those kind of consistent things each day, you can start to enjoy, like, your weeks a lot more. And so whether it's those chaotic times or not, I think knowing every day I always will spend an hour sweating somehow, whether it's running or working out, it allows you, no matter what the situation is, to actually, like, enjoy it a little bit more. So yeah, I think there's a lot of, like, the daily routine of just, like, practicing and knowing that it's it's always going to be the time that you look back on with the fondest memories is when it actually becomes a bit more enjoyable. So I had 3 friends all sell their companies last year, and every single one of them, the minute they crossed that, finish line in some ways, they all, and these 3 people don't know each other, but they all spoke to me on different occasions and said, I already want to get back out on the field and go do the things that I actually thought I didn't like. And so at the time when I was working through all those things and I was complaining or I was struggling or it was tough, once they crossed that finish line and had a major financial event where all of them wouldn't have to work ever again, it was actually the times of challenge with colleagues that is what they want to go do again.